Guys, the time has come. My Digital Dizziness Guide is now available to purchase on Etsy. I still can't believe it. I remember over a year ago I was thinking about this initial concept, and the fact that it's all come together exactly how I'd hoped makes me more than happy. I'm aware that my YouTube channel looks dead right now. I've not posted in I don't know how many months, but hopefully I have got a rebrand coming where I'll be doing a completely different type of content, but that's not the conversation for this video. Today I'm going to talk about something much more exciting, which is my dizziness guide. I wanted to do a launch video to coincide with my product going live because I wanted to give you guys some more information about the guide to essentially give you an overview of what you can expect from the guide and see if it's something that you want to get personally. Thank you to you guys who over a year ago voted in my initial poll where I shared the idea and just wanted to see if there was actually any interest, and there was. So from that I decided to go ahead, so I really appreciate those of you that did vote on that. It just demonstrated that there was actually some demand for a resource like this as something that I haven't seen too often. So after all the support that I've received on my PPPD videos, the fact that when I first filmed that initial video I thought nothing of it, I thought people aren't going to know what I'm on about, and now I've had hundreds, well thousands of comments and likes and shares because you guys are going through the same thing that I went through, and it really touches my heart that I've helped so many of you, and I want to continue doing that, hence the guide. I can confidently say that I've been 100% dizziness free for over a year now, and I feel very settled and I can just get on with my life, and I essentially am how I was before I got my dizziness. So I feel like it's now a good time to be sharing with you all the best practices, all the highs and lows, and just being real with you guys about the recovery, because it's definitely not a straight road. Looking back now and reflecting, there's a lot of things that would have got me to the finish line a bit quicker than how long it took me. It's worth noting, I say in all my videos, I'm not a medical professional, so if you are looking for a resource that's written by a medical professional or accredited, that's not what you're going to find in my guide. I wanted something that was going to be very real, very from a personal perspective, and giving my own advice as someone who's been through it firsthand. But let's go into the specifics of the guide and what you can expect. The content has been shaped largely by you guys and a lot of the frequently asked questions that I get on both my comments and in my DMs, which I still get to this day, although I'm really bad at replying, so I do apologise. But this just ensures that I'm writing the guide for you guys and I'm kind of addressing your issues. And while I have the guide open, I thought I'd go through some of the topics / chapters, so then you fully know what you're going to be getting and if it's going to answer your questions. This will also be included in the Etsy description because I just want to be transparent with you guys, so the contents page is there, but it's just more fun for me to tell you here. I'm going to move to the side so I can put some cool text in, but we have understanding the root cause of your dizziness, breaking the dizziness anxiety cycle, overcoming avoidance behaviour, all about vestibular rehabilitation therapy, how to build your vestibular exercise routine, which is a very key one because a lot of people still don't know how to actually build their own routine and how to change up the exercises and when and intensities, medication as a treatment option, my own symptom journey, how to know if you have PPPD specifically, a bit more about my diagnosis, some useful lifestyle habits that you can implement to help aid your recovery, my recovery timeline, dealing with relapsing, additional struggles that you may face, the impact of positions and movements, the damage of a negative mindset, an example routine to follow. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a good overview of the wide breadth of content that I've included in this guide. So who exactly is this guide for? Is it just for people that have PPPD? Is it for dizziness people in general? Is it for everyone? So I would say that this guide is for anyone that is dealing with dizziness. You can have something that's diagnosed and it may not be PPPD, or you may not have a diagnosis and have no idea what's going on, but I've made this guide pretty broad in the sense that it will be applicable to the majority of dizziness disorders, because actually from doing research, there's a lot of crossover in terms of the recovery, the habits and general things like that that apply to a lot of dizziness disorders, not just PPPD. There are a couple of pages that are PPPD specific, but the rest of them are pretty much broad. So I didn't want to limit it to just people with that condition, because I'm aware that even people that think they have it may not have actually been diagnosed and may be a bit unsure whether this guide is for them. But yeah, it's just dizziness in general. So if you're struggling with that, there'll be things in there to help you. So it isn't actually just the dizziness guide that I have on offer. There's also a few more resources and also a potential resource that I need your feedback on before I actually get started. So the guide is obviously my absolute baby. This is my main product, but I do also have a few things that I feel like would offer additional support and kind of marry up with the guide. So one of the things I have created is a digital download for those of you who do opt for the vestibular rehabilitation exercises route. I'm a big advocate, so I hope you choose this route over any other route. And basically it is something where you can keep track of your exercises and switch them up in combination with the guide, which will kind of give you an idea of when you should be doing what exercises and how to switch up your routine. It's a great way for you to note down when you need to be increasing the intensity or when you need to change your exercises. And it's just great to have somewhere central to log everything to do with your exercises. It really keeps you accountable and keeps you on track. So yeah, you can get that on Etsy as well. I'm going to be linking everything in the description. And I also have these, which are my only physical resource. So this is my reflection notepad. I've actually matched it to the colour of the guide because I wanted it to be part of the series, but this is open to anyone, not just if you have dizziness, it's just reflection in general, hence I've kept it very broad. But I thought for people specifically who are getting the dizziness guide, it's nice to have somewhere dedicated to all your thoughts, feelings, progress, ups and downs, just to log it in a book that can just be dedicated to all things dizziness. I've basically created things that I feel like I would have benefited from when recovering. I just think in terms of the organisation of your brain and making sure you don't forget things, because I feel like now when people ask me questions about my recovery, there's some things where they're like, did you have this symptom? And I'm like, I don't know, I actually can't remember if I had it. Whereas in the moment, it just validates everything you're feeling. So if you are interested in just a central place to keep everything, I have my reflection notepads on offer on Etsy, but it's literally just lined paper. I wanted to keep it really just broad so you could do what you like with it. It's very customizable. If you want to doodle on a day when you're feeling anxious, doodle, do it. If you want to write down affirmations, do it. That's absolutely fine. So obviously you've got the exercise download, which is very kind of specific, but then you've got this book, which is very unspecific, and you can do what you want with it. So that is my current product range, but now let's get on to something that I'm considering launching, but again, I need to see what the demand's like for it. So the other product that I'm really keen on launching, if there is interest, is a symptom journal / diary / planner. This is my inspo. So I've had this journal for ages. It's kind of like a planner really. It's called the Master Plan. Absolutely love it. And it's very like tailored. So here you've got today's plan, then you've kind of got boxes for what did you have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, shopping list, daily exercises. So I don't want it to be customized quite to that extent, but I want it to be somewhere where you can actually just log your symptoms. I think symptom diaries are so important and something that a lot of people don't commit to because they just don't have a resource that encourages them to do it. They're not only beneficial for doctors when they're like, okay, I need a symptom diary. Like you can't come in telling me you've had this for a week. When did it start? And you're like, I have no idea when it started. Has the intensity changed? I don't know, but having something like this, again, it just logs everything and just makes it so much easier to track what's going on. And also with your recovery as well, I think it's a good thing to kind of assess if something's got better or worse, because like I've said in previous videos, at the time of healing, I didn't realise I was getting better because I was so focused on the fact that the dizziness was still present, rather than that my head pressure had gone, my nausea had gone, all of that had gone, but I hadn't realised because I was focusing on the wrong things. Whereas having something like this where I can write down every single day, in the morning I felt like this, in the afternoon I felt like this, in the evening my symptoms subsided, and then a week later my symptoms are really flaring up. It helps you not only identify triggers, because I think that's the key thing that sometimes we overlook, but also you can look back and be like, oh, actually, I'm having way less head pressure than I was having 2 weeks ago. Oh, my headaches have reduced compared to a month ago. Maybe I am getting better. And I think that's a key part of motivation in your whole recovery process. Because with vestibular rehabilitation therapy, things don't happen like this and it's not always obvious. This would have made things a lot more obvious for me that I was actually on the right track and should continue and not quit, because I'm so worried about people quitting where after a month or 2 months they don't think they feel any different, because chances are something has improved but you're probably not focusing on that one thing. So please let me know. I think I'm going to do a poll again, because that seemed to be really good, although I know less people will be visiting my channel at the moment because I haven't been posting very much at all. But if you see this and it's something that you're interested in, please just let me know your feedback. Even drop a comment on the poll if you think there's a better format or something else that would work. But this will literally just be dedicated to anyone with chronic illnesses, chronic symptoms, just to track them, and it will be customized inside, so you can put morning, afternoon, evening, severity, reflections of the day, like something that you notice might have triggered it or not triggered it, or, oh, I'm getting better at this today. all that could go in a symptom diary. So yes, please vote on the poll. I will link it in the description. I really, really value your feedback because that is a resource that is going to take a lot more initial investment money-wise to build, because I do want it to be of really good quality. But I don't want to make them if people are like, I don't need that, I can just write it on paper. So yeah, that's that. So now on to the final aspect. I'm going to talk about price, which is obviously very important. Price is something that I've gone back and forth on. I've asked for like advice on from people because I wanted it to be fairly priced and reflective of what you're getting. So it really was a balancing act. I didn't want it to be so expensive that it was going to become inaccessible for some people, because I don't think that's fair, and that's a key problem as it is, that a lot of people can't afford things like doctor's appointments, and it would break my heart if people felt they couldn't get better because they can't afford it. But I did also want it to be something that was fair to myself in terms of the pricing, because I have invested so much time, thought and love into this resource that I really feel like it should have some sort of price tag on it to kind of compensate for what I've put into it. So in the end, I've settled on 17 Great British pounds for the digital guide and £5 for the downloadable vestibular rehabilitation exercises template, and my notepad is £12. But I also have a bundle deal, so if you wanted to get all three, you would get them for £30, which saves you about £4. So yeah, when I was thinking about price, I did have to kind of think realistically in terms of how much people spend on things like doctor's appointments. I mean, I'm from the UK, but I get so many people from like the USA and places that don't fund doctor's appointments, having to spend hundreds just to speak to a doctor for them to say, oh, it's just anxiety. So I felt 17 was more reasonable, the fact that I'm actually giving you information that makes you feel heard, it's shaped around you, and I'm not just going to dismiss you and say you have anxiety, because I just think that's so harmful. And it's really upsetting to hear that so many of you have been through that. And to be fair, this guide really is for those people that keep hitting a wall when they go to the doctors. They feel like they're getting pushback, they feel like they're not being taken seriously. Is it all in your head? Because I never want anyone to feel like that. And that's what this guide is here for, to reassure you, to validate your feelings, to give you advice and access to information that you deserve, and ultimately to give you the life you deserve, and, you know, become something that you can rely on to get better, refer back to, and just give you the confidence to understand that you can recover. And it is a journey, but I am at the end of that journey. I've said bye to the journey, and I am better than ever. So I always say that I hope that I'm your light at the end of the tunnel, that things do get better, and please don't give up, because I know at times it can feel completely debilitating and like, how on earth am I going to get out of this situation? But you got in it, so you can get out of it. But yeah, that's the end of the video. So if you did like the sound of my resources, especially the guide, please do support and purchase. I've left the link in the description to everything, including the poll. Please vote on the poll. That's so important, because I really need to know whether to do these symptom diary / journal / planners and come up with a name so I'm not slashing everything. But yeah, it was lovely to speak to you guys again. I've missed you so much. And hopefully my channel rebrand will be starting in the summer at some point, because I've literally paid a really talented digital designer to create a whole new branding for my channel, and I haven't even used it yet, which is so sad. And this was like April or something. But we will get there. And if you are interested, it's going to be a social commentary channel. So talking about things like social media and how it affects us, trends, just kind of psychological things that link to society, and just the whole concept of being a human in 2023 compared to when life was a bit more wholesome, kind of technology, Black Mirror vibes, basically. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe. If you're not, stay subscribed. For some reason, I might be able to change your mind. And thank you so much for listening, and thank you in advance if you do purchase any of my resources at all, because it means the world to me. And I will see you guys later. Bye.